Welcome to Stay Paid, your #1 sales and marketing podcast on a mission to help you close more deals, keep more clients, and build the life of freedom you're working for. But that can only happen if you're willing to take action today. My name is Josh Stike, Chief Marketing Officer here at Reminder Media. And as always, I'm joined by Luke Acree, President of Reminder Media.
Reminder Media.
I know this company's name.
Yeah, you've only been a part of it since the garage, so you better know it.
And from the Acree Brothers Realty team, as always, founder and team lead Stephen Acree and Director of Sales Cody Smith. Our guest today is Andrew Undem. Andrew is the co-owner and managing partner of the Shore Group at Remax Sales. With a strategic edge in negotiation, sales, and leadership, Andrew has helped lead over $500 million in residential real estate sales. Andrew, welcome to Stay Paid.
Hey, thanks for having me. You must have read that bio from 2014. We're at
Berkshire
Hathaway now.
I was like, he's with Berkshire Hathaway.
Wait, did you submit a bio?
Yeah. No, I mean, hey,
well, this is your website, brother.
I'm like, hey, if I've been doing this long and only sold 500 million, I'd quit.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah.
All right, give us your updated bio. All right.
It's all good, man. It's all good. Happy to be here. Love Reminder Media. I know we have some mutual friends and Alan Dalton and Sharon and others. So happy to share and appreciate the invite.
Yeah, man. Super excited to have you on. You've been crushing it lately with the content, so really excited to get into everything that's going on. I want to come out of the gate, though, just throwing you the question that's on everybody's mind, which is AI. And are you implementing AI in your business right now? Are you seeing it already helping you, or is it one of those buzzwords that hasn't reached your desk yet and is not an implementation?
If it's a buzzword for somebody, they're on their way out. Okay.
Amen to that. Yep.
I'll never forget the day I discovered ChatGPT was the day it actually came out. Because Gary Vee said, I just saw something and it reminds me when I saw Google the first time when I started Wine Library. So I'm a Gary Vee disciple. And he said, go here right now, openai.com, and start playing with this. So I've been using it quite a bit. I mean, I guess a year and a half now, 2 years, whatever it's been. And it is kind of freaky, the speed at which it can do some of these incredible things. If you're up to speed on what, Google, it feels like every week they're releasing all these new features. And if you go to Google.ai and the labs and what they can do with video. But it's easy to go down that rabbit hole and get freaked out. Like, oh my God, this can literally replace everybody. I mean, it can create movie-like scenes.
I like the pause that you gave.
We all had to pause.
Yeah, because it's like, it probably will replace everybody.
Shoot.
It's going to replace, it can, now that it can actually think and the agentic stuff can perform tasks, it's very impressive. But what I've kind of settled into recently is all the technology that we are using, which all the agents that watch your show have, their CRMs and maybe they're on Google Workplace. It's kind of getting baked into everything. So people are using it even if they don't think they're using it. Right. You're kind of using it. Like Follow Up Boss and FUB and Inside Real Estate with Boomtown or Bold Trail. It's in all the technology already natively. So I'm very excited about it. It's going to make people extremely efficient, but the effectiveness is up to the user in how they prompt it, how they use it.
Yeah, it's how good you are at prompts. Are you using it? Because I want to get into like your listing presentation. Sure. Are you using AI to write listing descriptions? That seems to be a common one that people are doing. Have you used it to analyze your listing presentation? I was speaking at an event in Cherry Hill, and I guess in Philly too. And Drew Thompson with Rio was speaking there, and he was sharing how he has AI basically analyze his listing presentation because ChatGPT has a video feature where you can have it watch your listing presentation and give you a critique. Have you done any of that?
I haven't had it critique me because, I'm not trying to impress the AI. I'm trying to impress the person I'm sitting across from. So you don't want to get too...
Well, I think it's meant to coach you. I guess you could impress it, but I think it's... he said to have it be like Simon Cowell, from the old American Idol.
Hey, look, the AI, it's a good idea. I mean, everything helps if you're trying to sharpen your sword and get as good as you possibly can. But at the end of the day, what I always say on this listing presentation thing is, one is you are the presentation. You personally, how you look, how you act, how you talk. It doesn't even matter as much what you say, but how you say it. Because they don't have to believe what you're saying. They have to believe you believe what you're saying. Yeah. That's stuff that I'm not sure the AI is going to be able to coach you too much on is your own conviction and certainty, but I'm sure it can based on tonality, and that'll keep getting better too. But no, of course you use it for listing descriptions. Of course you use it for any written content. We're all not the best writers, okay? I'm not a novelist, but I do have good ideas and I can convey them verbally pretty well. So we all know communication is not the written word. The words you say are only 7%, 55% body language, 30, whatever it is, 37 tonality. And the words are only this much. So unless you think AI can turn you into a world-class actor, because that's what you are performing. This is a performative job. You're going to have to work on yourself a little bit. But Alan wrote a whole book on this, Luke. His whole book is how agents can use AI in their day-to-day stuff with their listing presentation, with their PR, with their buyers, how to analyze the data, which we know it's really good at. So I have been flirting around with some of that stuff. It changes so fast. You can't get into one system. This is how I do it now. Because guess what? In August, it's going to be so much better. And it's not the strongest of species that survive. It's those most willing to adapt. So I'm not gonna say this is how you have to do it now, because it's going to change, and I'm looking forward to adapting and rolling with it.
Yeah, it's so good. Just right on point. And we just went over in our sales meeting. I think that's what you're going to bring up. Adam, who's super into AI, just had AI virtually stage the whole house, and you would not believe how good it is. I mean, it is better than our photographer stages. It's better. It's the best looking one that I've seen yet. And I've done it before and it doesn't look that great.
Like we paid for it.
I don't know what update they did, but it looks incredible. So the speed in which you can use the tools that are there are going to be incredible. But then it comes down to, your confidence, and how you convey things. And
And another thing you can do too is like if you want something to look renovated. So another guy took a picture of this like lawn that was overgrown, like no vision, took a picture of it and said, hey, let me clean this up, put this here. And it made it look perfect.
Perfect.
And it looked real. Yeah. And it's been a huge plus to just give vision to what's not there. And there's huge platforms that you pay for that to happen. And with this, you can just do with ChatGPT on your own. I also want to speak to what you said about confidence. You literally said that yesterday after a listing appointment. What is the difference between maybe a newbie or a veteran and the difference in the conversation? The conversation is actually not different for the most part, but it's how you're conveying that message is the huge game changer with confidence.
Yep.
And believing in what you're saying is the game changer in that. So it's like, man, what do I need to do to get better as far as information goes? Probably not much. There might be a system in that, but
I was just going to say, just like we just tell them all the time, is like, stop over educating. All you need to do is like, here's what we need to do. Here's the next step. But everyone wants to explain it so much, but the confidence piece is pretty much all that matters to getting things signed, and getting things to the market. Here's what
What's your thoughts on that, Andrew, of like how you would open up? How do you display, like, it's great to hear you got to be confident, but like, how do you display that confidence to the actual seller? How do you kind of prep and frame up your listing presentation to make sure you're coming across the right way?
Well, it comes down to, it's either you know what you're talking about or you don't. And people have a good BS meter. Okay, so if you know the right path sequentially and what steps need to happen, and you can articulate that very clearly to a seller, they feel certain. If you feel certain, they feel certain. If you're wishy-washy, they're wishy-washy. And, I love what, I believe that was Cody had said, which is less is more. You talk yourself out of a sale. You don't answer unasked questions. Okay, that's sales 101.
That's really good. Yeah,
so good.
It's called sell today, educate tomorrow.
Yeah.
You give people exactly what they want. And the game is you don't pretend like you know what they want, which is why you can have these beautiful listing presentations. And Sharon and I went over this thing, and this is how you open it, and this is how you start it, and this is how you flow through it, and how you set the frame. And there's an element called show, flow, demo. You have to show, flow, or demo through each one of these kind of compelling components of value as you move through. That doesn't quite matter if the person you're talking to doesn't care. That's why you can't really quite do it with AI, because AI cares about everything.
Yeah.
But the homeowner might not. So the real key is it's not being a good closer, it's being a good opener, to your point, Luke. Because how you open anything, whoever sets the frame wins the game. Okay? The only way to properly open any interaction, any conversation is to figure out what that homeowner wants to talk about, then embed things into their agenda that they give you permission for that you want to talk about. Okay, that's called setting the agenda. So when you set the agenda, if I was talking to Cody, I'd say, hey, Cody, thanks so much for allowing me to come out today. What types of things would you like to go over in order to make the best use of your time? And you know, people always, well, yeah, we're thinking about selling the house. We want to know what it's worth, what you think we should get done, what you think the price might be, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter what they say because we're going to give you what you want. Right. I don't care what my little book says, what my presentation says, what your little pamphlet that you want to make sure you go over.
The book guide isn't the answer?
That's not the answer. The answer is you go in there with a piece of paper and you write that down. Okay, so we're going to go over that, go over that, go over that. Hey, a lot of times, that's historical precedent. A lot of times, people also want to go over what we do uniquely to get it sold, how do we maximize exposure, you know, what we charge and how we maximize your equity. Is it okay if we touch on those? Of course they say yes.
Yeah.
I just embedded that into your agenda. Okay, cool. Now here's a couple of things I'm going to want to talk about. Any specific critical dependencies on timing, how you're planning on making your decision, and who all is going to be involved in this process from your side. So I'm just going to have to ask you a couple questions on that if that's cool. Awesome. Typically this takes half an hour, 45 minutes. Always control the time. This is still the opening, right? This happens quick. Hey, at the end of this meeting, one of two things are going to happen. We might decide it's not a good fit. So if at any point in time you're not feeling it, totally have permission to let's just hit pause, okay? Because I'm just here to serve you. But conversely, and more commonly, we're going to take the next logical step in the process. Does that sound okay? You closed them right there.
Yeah.
At the end of this, we're either not doing shit or we're doing shit. Okay?
Yeah, it's so good.
So there's no close. You open like that. Now you're in my world. I'm in control, but you feel good about it because you set the agenda. I'm going to make sure I give you whatever you want. And then from there, you can go into it. And you know you have all these cool lines and things you want to pull out, but you don't have to pull them out unless they're needed. Mm-hmm. That's why, like Sharon's Black Book, which I actually have right here, that I kind of customized on my own. Same thing with the buyer presentation. Same thing with the seller. Same thing. We do property management the same way you introduce your lender if you're trying to control that piece. It's all the same. But the key is you have to be unconsciously competent at where you want this to go, beginning with the end in mind, before you get sucked into, oh my God, do they like me? If I say this, should I say this now? No, I got to make sure I talk about all the reasons our team has sold 1,000 houses this year. No one cares. Once you can finally understand that the people don't care about you, they care about them. They just want to like you.
What would you answer to the question that people are like, well, should you know their personality first before you meet with them so you know where to take the conversation? What do you think of that?
Oh my God, you got to get Alan to talk about this. He will go on a diatribe on disc.
Yeah.
Okay, we call this was in our book, The Forever Agent Proclamations. Can't find it. We talked about that off air. Disc testing, yes. Disc guessing, no. So unless you have had your clients take a disc test and you have all that data ahead of time, maybe you can identify if they're more of an I or they're an S or a C, whatever. But you don't know. But people are going around the whole industry and the whole sales training world thinking, hey, because the guy shook his hand like this, he's a D. Talk to him like that. This is nonsense. You didn't give him a disc test. So stop acting like it. So that's where I am on that. Now, it's real. It's totally a real thing. But I don't think realtors have miraculously found the ability. I went to a class at the Holiday Inn, and now I know how to magically guess everyone's personality because of the way they wrote one email. It's like, give me a break, bro.
Yeah. No, it's being, everything you're saying is like just being confident and knowing the reason you can be confident is because you know the situation that's coming. Yeah. So you even introed where you're going to get a bunch of questions, right? But then you control that throughout it, and then you can answer them along the way. No, I love that.
I'm curious because I think where most agents are fearful, right, is objections. It's the same for any sale. The salesman is always trying to prep and prepare and is fearful of the objection. How do you handle objections within the actual listing agreement?
Well, if you do it right and you set the agenda properly and you open properly, you're not going to get many objections. Especially if you can go through a sequential order of this is how we're going to attack this game plan on a timeline. And you kind of hit all the marks. Like, here's how we prep. Here's how we're going to market it. Here's how we're going to use coming soon. Here's how we're going to do our buyer profile demographic targeting. Here's what we're going to do on video. Here's how we take pictures. Here's our philosophy on negotiating once offers come in. Here's how we handle the transaction once it's pending, closing, post-close. If you really understand how you do that, you're not going to get many objections. And when you do get them, here's the best objection handler of all time. Because, when they object, they're not objecting to you. They're stopping themselves a little bit because they're not clear. They're not seeing, there's still some opacity. There's still some mystification for them on the process. So whenever you get an objection, when I get them, I just say, I don't feel any pressure. Why would I feel pressure? I'm not buying or selling anything. I got a free roll on this thing. What do I care? So when they have an objection, I simply just say this. How do you want to handle that? And I'm genuinely curious, because people will solve their own problems about 1,000 times better and faster than you'll try to solve them. And people will defend what they help build. They'll fight you all day, but they're not going to fight themselves. So, you guys should be paying me for this.
Hey man, he is getting paid for coaching now, so this is free coaching, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, yeah, not really. Well, when someone inquires and they're actually interested, we have engaged some people on that, but I find most people aren't interested. Right? They think there's a magic pill. They can say, "Oh yeah, if I get this, I'll just be awesome. I can give you this book and tell you exactly what to say. You'll still suck shit unless you really, really get into it."
Right. Yeah. And Steven, you just went to a mastermind where people were, talking about lead sources that they weren't using. Like, it's kind of similar to that.
Yeah, I think like every objection is just, for the most part, you just got to understand it's all surface level. It's always saying something else. Besides, like someone says, "What do you charge?" They're not talking about what you charge. They're talking about making the most money, in their pocket. And so you got to know where the true objection, comes from. So like you always say, like, always affirm what they're saying and stay in agreement. It's a great question, but then you direct them right back to, hey, this is about making you the most money in your pocket. So just like I always tell people, just get off the objection, because the objection isn't real in their mind. It always alludes to something else. Interest rate is not about interest rate. It's about them getting a deal or their payment being where they need it to be. And so you just you take that objection and then you affirm what they're saying and then go right back in.
When they ask you a question, objections normally come in the form of questions. They're questioning something you said. You always ask them a question back to get more clarity on it.
Sure.
Like, it is initially, it is surface level, but you can dive deep on it.
Yep.
What do you charge? You say, I like to do, it's called the start stop. You start answering it. Well, typically, when the seller, when we engage in this, hey, just curious. Before I came over, you guys were probably already talking about that. What'd that conversation sound like? And
so you really want to get them talking. What if they build a straw man argument? Like, isn't the danger there that they voice something that's not really true, but now because they voiced it, it's given truth. And just like you said, people are going to defend what they've built. So isn't there a risk there when you get them talking to solve their own problem that they voice something that's not really true? Do you run into that?
Something silly that is not true, which happens all the time.
Yeah.
Well, there's estimates at this, or Redfin will do for that, or whatever the case may be, of course. But then you gotta dive a little deeper. Whoever is asking the questions is in control. So if someone's putting you on your back feet and you don't know how to handle that, because the precursor to this is you have to be totally comfortable with yourself. And this is not even a sales. This is just a life thing. If you're not comfortable with yourself, you'll never be able to make someone else comfortable. Okay, this is the first step to bond rapport. If I'm not comfortable, you're not comfortable. You don't know that guy or girl. You meet at a party. They're just awkward. Get away from this.
Steven.
I can already tell. Hey, Cody and Steven are that's why you guys sell a ton of real estate, because you guys are you're comfortable. You know what you're doing, and you're good. But if someone makes this straw man argument, you just have to ask, say, hey, curious, did you guys come up with that or did you hear that somewhere? Like, where is that coming from? And you just get, oh, well, and then it's so easy to dispel if you're just.
Yeah, you're almost making them defend their position, but in a non-threatening, very questioning, curious tone.
Well, a famous person, Christopher Hitchens, I don't know if you know this guy, but he said something so good. He's more like he attacks religion, talk about arguments, like which God is real kind of thing. He always says that which can be submitted without evidence can be dismissed without evidence.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're just going to say some dumb shit, well, I don't have to defend that. All right. But since we're trying to stay in rapport and we're trying to accomplish a common goal, maximize the seller's equity, get the buyer what they want, you just have to, who came up with that?
I love that.
Yeah, and you're just curious because sales is a Broadway play put on by a psychiatrist, okay? We're just all we want to do is get to the truth extremely quickly.
Yeah.
That's what the best agents do. I want the truth. I'm going to get to the truth, and we're either going to move forward or we're not. And either way is good with me. And you'll be able to identify people who are not logical, reasonable, rational thinkers very quickly. Oftentimes you can still help them, but sometimes you go, geez, do I even want to engage? God, what happens when we try to put this thing under contract? And they start saying, well, I thought it was business days, not weekdays, or the property inspections notice. They didn't say this right. You're like, some people you don't have to deal with everybody. Okay. But most people are good.
Yeah.
We all know that. Most of these people are just fine. It's the agents who mess up the deals. It's not the consumers. It's never the consumers. The reason deals don't get done is because of the agents. The reason deals fall out of contract is because of the agents. The buyer wants to buy, the seller wants to sell, and it's an extreme lack of communication and clarity delivered from the agent to their client that causes the problems, because we don't get to talk to the other party. We have to play this stupid game of telephone. I'm representing the seller. I have to run all my communication through a buyer's agent, which I don't have that much control over, who then talks to the buyer, who's actually making the decision. So what every good agent's job is your ability to coach the other agent on how to talk to their client.
Yep.
And that's really where the magic is.
That's interesting. You don't hear that.
Clients.
Yeah,
I hope you know how to talk to your clients. Yeah. But can you influence the outcome of a decision on the other side based on how you're communicating with the other party?
Let's go deeper on that, because I don't hear that very often on podcast or thought leadership that's out there, which is how to influence the other real estate agent. So like, as you guys think about that, what are some tips you would give to a new agent of how you would talk to the other agent? Is there a style like where I hate to say it this way, but it's just for sake of the conversation, like, hey, between you and I, like framing up and trying to build rapport with them. It's like, hey, let's cut the fluff and let's cut the negotiation. Just you and I want to get this deal done. Is there that? Because you also have this fiduciary duty of representing your seller. So there's kind of this gray area that happens there.
Yeah, I think.
What's your thoughts on that?
I would just say from the very get-go, it starts with being in control of your client, because most agents, the problem they run into is they're controlled by their client and they're not clearly communicating to their client what they need to do. And so they're being soft, and the client's telling them, well, let's do this. Let's go back for a $10,000 repair request. And deep down it's never going to happen, but you're not willing to communicate that to them because you want it to be easy. And so then you're going to the other agent going, I don't believe it. I don't believe we should ask for 10,000, but we're asking for 10,000. So it's like, it starts with your belief on what you should do, communicating that clearly to your client, and then coming back with a response that's reasonable because you believe it. So that would be the first thing I would say.
Well, Stephen, it's spot on. It's who's leading the ship here. Yeah. People want to be led. That's the thing you got to wrap your head around. Your job is to lead the situation. People will never follow somebody unless they feel like they can learn from them, and they're actually, they have the credibility and the ability to get to the finish line to accomplish the goal. So 100% there. And what people do is, and this drives me nuts, you see people say, the agent, I'll be the agent, be like, hey, Stephen, so they're asking for home inspector, has all these issues. What do you think? What do you want to do? They give their power away. These agents literally ask their client what should they do. It's like going to the dentist and saying, hey, my tooth jacked up, really painful. And the dentist goes, all right, what do you want to do?
Right. Yeah.
You want me to pull the molar, or like, you tell me, what do you think we should do? What are we doing, guys?
Right.
That's step one. But let's assume we get past that and you're actually in control of your side, but you do have to influence the other side, which was what Luke was going for there. If the other agent is good, and you kind of know this, right? You can see the production, you can see the numbers. Most markets, all real estate's local, so you run into the same players. Like 90% of the real estate sold by 10% of the agents. So you kind of know who you're dealing with. And if you're dealing with someone new, and you want to, comes back. If you want better answers, you have to ask better questions. So say, hey, we're going to come to you. We're going to ask for $10,000 towards a credit here. Now, Stephen, how are you going to present that to your seller? And they'll say, well, I'm going to tell them this is ridiculous. Okay, but see, that could be an issue. We want to make sure everything's cordial. The buyers want the property. The reason they're asking for the 10 is this. Let's role play a little bit. I want to make sure you convey to the seller what we're asking for in the kind of manner and tone of the spirit. So the last thing I want to happen, and I know it's happened in the past, again, using historical precedent. I know this has happened before, not saying it's the case here, but what's happened before is we make a request and people get bent out of shape and then everyone's fighting. And then this whole thing gets we don't want that. See, what's funny is we're actually cooperating. See, the houses are competing. The clients might be competing, but you and I we're supposed to cooperate. So let's stay on the same team here. It's stuff like that.
Yeah, it's so good.
That's like some black belt Jedi mind trick stuff.
Right.
But people are lazy. You get 10 deals going on, you just start punting. We call them punters. You're like, you just punt it away. Pray to God it works.
Yeah.
Not my agent.
Well, I love that. Yeah, it's coaching by like telling them, hey, the motive behind it, the reason behind it. It's educating more than just say, hey, this is a $10,000 credit. Yep. It's saying, hey, we're doing $2,000 credit because of these major things that we're looking at. You know, I always often say like, hey, we're not going for anything minor. I know it's 10,000, but they're major issues, and you know they're really concerned about it, and this is the reason why we did it. You know, what are your thoughts on that? Like, what do you think about that? Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I can see why you want that. Yeah, and it would make sense to your seller too, right? Right.
You have to ask them how they're going to talk to their client about it. How do you plan on presenting this to your client? And it goes the other side too. So the seller, and then I come back and say, hey, we're not going to give you the 10K. So you go back to the buyer's agent and say, hey, the seller's not going to give the 10K. Totally understand where you're coming from. Now, when you deliver that back to the buyer, how do you plan on presenting that to them? Because I don't want them to be upset. But you know we had 3 offers. And we took yours because you waived the appraisal. But the sellers are in a position, you know, you got to understand. We have backup offers, or whatever the case is. So we're not trying to jerk you around, but this is just where we're at. Talk to me a little bit about how you think the buyers are going to feel about that. Let's role play. And you're just helping. You're there to help because you want to be the person that the cooperating agent likes doing deals with. Yep. We don't fight. It's like 3 ninjas. You never fight unless you know you can win. We don't know what's going to happen with this. We're playing telephone, you know? But
Andrew, I feel like
you can light up the eyes.
I feel like you were a therapist in the past life. Man. I feel like I need to come talk to you about all my problems. Like, yeah, you're extremely good. Even with the pausing, like the pausing is so powerful.
Well, Luke, I can look, guys.
Like we all thought our jobs are in jeopardy. That AI space. So.
Hey, I can teach you guys so much.
you probably could, but it's like you can tell. I hope people watch this on YouTube because there is even like we were saying earlier, there's an art form to even your presentation style, which matters tremendously. And I loved music growing up, still love music, but play a lot of musical instruments. And one of the most powerful things one of my music teachers taught me growing up is there's as much beauty in the blank space as there is in the notes. And once you come to understand that, you can actually be a great musician because it's about dynamic, right? It's about emotion. It's about feeling. And that translates to communication. And there's when you get nervous and when you get commission breath, you start not letting pauses happen.
Yeah, because it's all staccato.
Exactly.
Hey, can we get a couple half notes in here and take a breath?
All right, man, we're going to switch gears a little bit here. So Ryan Serhant, you've gotten this probably, you know, people say all the time, you're like the mini Ryan Serhant, right? He looks like Ryan Serhant, doesn't he, guys? Yeah. Serhant, however you pronounce his name. You just did some content with him, didn't you?
Yeah, it's a funny story. I get that all the time. I swear to God, 2 weeks ago, I was doing an open house. See, I'm still in the trenches.
That's what I like. Yeah.
I'm still doing it. Okay. Because I feel like you have to find things that feel like play to you, but work like others. In this game, this is fun to me. That's why I just like it. I like dealing with the problem. Bring me your problems. I like to solve it. This is kind of fun, right? And that's what you got to get to that point. Now it's a grind and there's budgetary things. And I know everyone's in a different situation, but you got to just have some fun with this business. And it's way more fun to be good than it is to be bad, for lack of a better term. If you're bad at it, you're always stressed out. Deals are falling apart. But anyway, I was in an open house last week and this girl comes in. And one of my little funny jokes, good rapport, great family. They had a home to sell. They want to buy this big house I was in. And I said, I'm surprised you guys don't recognize me from TV. And she goes, oh my God. I thought that was you. What are you doing here? I said, oh, my family's from here. You guys, I'm done in New York. I had her going for like a good 5 minutes. It was a long time to think about it. She said, yeah, your wife's Greek and all this stuff. So I get the Sirhan thing all the time. Then we had this great joke, and I locked them up real quick. When you sell that house.
Think about closing the deal based up opening with a lie. What type of mind trick is that?
Well, you always come clean. You don't let them.
No, I know. I'm just saying that's great. That is so good.
I'm going to use the Jason Kelsey line next time.
Yeah, Jason Kelsey. There you go. You got that going on. I started getting on TikTok. I have one of my buddies, another guy you might want to interview. He was that mortgage guy on TikTok. He ended up with a couple million followers. He's locally a Maryland guy. And he goes, you need to get on TikTok. And I was like, I don't really play with TikTok too much, but okay. So I started making the TikToks. I started copying trending sounds. This is years ago. In the first few I do, I'm getting like 500,000 views. I'm like, oh my God, this is nuts. Like right out of the gate, first one. Wow. They're still there. I stopped posting on it because people there are mean. As a guy, I was the class clown, pretty witty. So I don't look. You can talk shit to me, but I'm going to talk back. So I ended up engaging in that, which was silly. Anyway,
are you sensitive, Andrew? I don't see you
not
as
at
the
all.
sensitive.
Hey, this is play. This is play. You can't hurt me. You can't hurt me. Hurt my feelings.
But I'll do my best to hurt you.
Yeah. I get all these comments start flying in, and they started being like this. Look at this Make-A-Wish looking fake discount Walmart Ryan Sirhan. This is like Sirhan's missing 2 chromosomes. Like just endless, amazing shit talk.
Yeah, that's really good.
Being a lookalike Sirhan. And a couple times Sirhan's employees, the Sirhan actual account started saying, oh my God, I thought you were my boss, this sort of thing. And then even Ryan posted about, hey, I think I found my doppelganger in passing on one of his stories years ago. Well, he ended up coming to Baltimore for a talk. I meet him. And going back to sales, I said, well, what do I want when I meet this guy? Because he knows who I am. What does Ryan care about? It's not about me. What would everyone else do? Hey, Ryan's cool. We look like each other. And that's that. And you go, hey, yeah, run along, buddy. Because everyone up there is trying to stroke him. So I said, well, Ryan, he was launching Sell It Like Sirhan at the time, and he wanted to get that out. I know that's important to him. So I came up with my game plan. I go meet him. Good suit, Sirhan-esque suit, real swaggy. I walk up to him, dap him up. What's up, bro? Hey, you're the guy who looks like me. Awesome. I said, hey, Ryan, I know you're launching, whatever series it was, part 3 of Sell It Like Sirhan. I'm at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. Home Services of America has got 150,000 agents, most of them over the age of 58. They're not going to see your stuff on social, but we should do a podcast. Let me interview you, and I can disperse that to all the Berkshire agents. It'll crush it with Sell It Like Sirhan.
Yeah.
He went, when can you come to New York? I said, whenever you want, train away. Boom. Then we hit it off. And
so good, man.
And that's kind of how we
how to win friends, influence people right there, ladies and gentlemen. That is a golden nugget. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, he's a hell of a guy, though. That guy deserves everything he's got. He is a workhorse.
Yeah, he really is. You can tell just even, following him from his media stuff, you just see that, oh man, this guy works all the time. But then you actually look at his results and you go, this is ridiculous. What do you think of his platform? Have you seen his platform? Like there's a lot of buzz in the industry about the AI speaking, we were talking about AI earlier in his platform. Have you seen it? Have you used it at all or anything?
I've not. I've seen what everyone else has seen. Simple.
Okay.
Ooh, change the way you'll do everything forever. And I do believe a couple things. One is it's not any better than what we all have. I think his platform is very similar to ReChat. I'm not a user of ReChat, but that's kind of what Simple is. If you're familiar with that.
Yep.
And then I also think I'm better at sales than him.
I love that. Yeah, gotta be.
That's the clip, man. Tag him right in it.
Well, look,
Ryan, we're gonna have to have you on, man.
It, though. So that's hard to win that argument. But I'm just in my head. I was thinking, and his stuff's awesome. It's not like he's got awesome stuff. He's great. Yep. But I'm thinking, yeah, not everyone's selling $20 million penthouses. What about the rest of us selling, 3, 4, 5, 600K? I'm selling row homes in Baltimore. And,
well, they got it even worse than you, man. They're selling $260,000 houses in Lynchburg, Virginia.
Sounds nice.
Don't even.
There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
People are people.
So the masses and dine with the classes, fellas.
There you go.
Well, Ryan, this has been, Andrew, this has been fantastic conversation. I appreciate the fact that we made it 620 episodes, and this was the first Three Ninjas reference. I would like a round of applause for that. That was a fantastic movie, The Three Ninjas.
I'm glad you picked that up. Yep.
I appreciate it.
Andrew,
thank you.
Watching it now.
Thanks for joining us today. Before we close out, let people know how they can connect with you and where you want them to go.
You can follow me. I'm easy to find. It's my last name's pretty much everywhere. @Undem on Instagram. Our team is Sure Group Real Estate. We serve Baltimore, and happy to do the referrals. And if you liked anything you heard, reach out to me. Everybody I've ever asked for help, Sharon, Alan, Gino at Berkshire. I was Zooming with him yesterday. Anyone I've ever asked for help's always helped me, and I want to pay that debt of gratitude forward. So if there's anything I can do to help, happy to. We're all in it together. Appreciate what you guys are doing at Reminder Media. It's great meeting you guys, Cody and Steven. And
yeah, man. And we'll include a link. I know you contribute to BAM a lot, so we'll make sure to include a link in the show notes here. Yep.
If you're not on BAMX, I don't know what you're doing. It is $100 a month, and every day they tell you what's going on in the industry. Every week they say, this is what you should post on social. This is how you should post it. This is the reel you need to post. There's hundreds of courses on there, and it's $100 a month. So if you're not on BAMX, I don't think you're serious.
Might as well retire,
Absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen. I back that up.
We'll include a link here in the show notes on how you can join that. Thank you all so much for listening. You can get those links over staypaidpodcast.com, and of course the show notes wherever you're listening this to. And if you enjoyed this episode, do us a favor, head on over to YouTube, youtube.com/Reminder Media. Subscribe to Reminder Media channel there and give this episode a thumbs up. If you want to get hold of me or Luke, you can email us at podcast@remindermedia.com. And of course, you can follow us on Instagram. We are at Stay Paid Podcast. For this episode of Stay Paid, I'm Josh Dyke.
Guys, I'm Luke Akery. Andrew, thank you, man. You are an assassin. We definitely have to have you back. So really appreciate all the wisdom you shared. Listen, guys, you can listen to stuff like this all day long, but if you don't take action, it will do you no good. The point of this show is that you actually take action on some of the things that you heard. And here's my challenge to you today. Because I think it's an obvious one that all of you should do, but so few of you will actually do, which is, you heard Cody and Steven and Andrew say it's not really about what you're saying as much as it is about how you're saying it, your body language and your tone. I challenge you to actually sit down, record your listing presentation, which I believe so few of you have actually done, and watch it. And actually watch your listing presentation and give it to one of the top producers at the office and beg them, because they probably will be like Andrew and want to pay it forward, to give you some critiques on your listing presentation. Do that. Remember, the difference between top producers and mediocre producers in any business is top producers take action. Take action on that today.